if this portfolio didn't pay, let me put it here, didn't pay any management fee, it would have earned 21.5 basis points per week versus 20.2. And this guy makes about 30 or pays about 30. Alternatively, on a gross basis, actually no, it is directly that. Before the fees, the managers of this fund are outperforming the index fund by about 2/3% a year. Again, that's even a huge number. So had we done that, let me see. Where did we put those? F3, F4, I'm sorry. Before, if you had not paid any fees at all, your $1 would have become 87 under the fund. And on the benchmark, it still would have been about 59. So some of that money, extra skill these guys have, is actually going to their management fee. But at least they are earning their management fee and they're making you some money. In mutual fund industry, this is relatively rare. On a kind of rough basis, on a single year, typically 80% of the mutual funds whose objective is similar to S&P 500, they underperform S&P 500. Over 10 plus years horizons, 98 to 99% of mutual funds underperform S&P 500. So in general, it is not a good idea to pay those extra management fees. If you can find funds that are cheaper, for example, Vanguard, actively managed funds. Let's look at it. Because those guys don't pay much, don't charge that much into let's go to the last. Anyway, you can find it. Typically, Vanguard is one of those funds that do not charge much. But a lot of Vanguard funds are index funds. For example, let me go to my TAICREF. Let me see if I still have access to those numbers. Come on. I'm currently waiting in cash. I sold off my equity funds at the end of January. That's why I made 5% since the beginning of the year. Let's see, transactions. Let me give it to you as an example. Vanguard, 10 basis points expense ratio. And this is not technically passive, but it's close to being passive. But let me see, there was another one. I can't remember the name now. You can look it up. So always pay attention to management fees, whether it's in ETFs or not. I mean, there's an ETF version of that. Let's do this. This is for short term. This is 4 basis points. Basically, you pay nothing. S&P 500 ETF, 3 basis points. Very, very small. So always go for those. So in general, it's a good idea. That's why I ask you to do these things in ETF. Given asset class, you're a lot more likely to have higher returns if you just invest in the ETF for the asset class instead of actively managing within the asset class. But even with the fund managers, there is evidence that fund managers can actually make money by changing the mix of the asset classes. So, picking Intel versus, let's say, Microsoft or other stocks is typically not a very productive strategy from the viewpoint of the investor. But picking stocks versus bonds or stocks versus, commodities, real estate, what have you, fund managers have a lot more skills in that part compared to picking individual stocks. That also kind of makes sense. I mean, if there was widespread talent of being able to pick stocks, A, why would I share that with you without charging a very high management fee? And B, uh, such strategies would people would start mimicking your strategies even with a delay, and they'll make money. For example, all mutual funds have to disclose their holdings every 3 months to SEC. Somebody actually did research on this. If you follow the best funds strategies with a 3 month delay, you outperform the market. By simply mimicking somebody with a delay, I can actually outperform the market. Then why would I pay you a lot of management fee? it kind of beats the whole thing up. All right. Let's stop here today. Let me see what we're gonna. Oh, this weekend I'm gonna post your interface to enter the trades and stuff, and there'll be more instructions on those. And I'll see you guys Monday.